So today I'm gonna be replacing the brake booster on my '97 F150, and I was sitting in traffic all day yesterday for like half hour trying to get out of work. It felt like an eternity. And anyways, I was like, it was a kind of a hissing noise for the whole time. I was just inching forward in traffic, and the reason why my brake booster went out is because my '92 Dodge D350. I was planning on putting one on it because the master cylinder's been leaking, and you can kind of hear that every time you hit the brakes. You kind of got to stand on the brakes kind of hard. It's kind of sketchy to drive, especially when you're pulling a trailer. But so, anyways, my old Ford truck here, it was like, hey, I want a brake booster too. So it decided it was just going to crap out a brake booster, and now I'm going to fix it. Try to. It's like you're a daily driver. You're not supposed to be doing this. I got projects and other stuff. What's going on here? You know, I got some ling longs on you. What else do you want? And some whatever, man. So once you get down here on your dash, you just want to tear that little rubber piece of sound deadener off. Now you can get to your screws, and we can see our cotter pin on the brake pedal. And man, it's weird. I've had this truck for like almost 10 years now. I've never really spent much time under here. Alright, anyways, you kind of just want to get your micrometers, and you just want to see what size that is, and by that you probably just want to go ahead and get a handful of wrenches, and so you can get those nuts off of there and get back in here, fight to get under the dash. I don't know why I even said wrenches, because we got technology, baby. And I think that's a 13 millimeter, which is a good thing, because I just knew it was going to be a 10, and I didn't have it. Oop. Wrong way. Don't use an extension that's about a half a mile too long either. That'll make life easier. Crap, there's a little piece of rubber on there from the sound deadener. It's dehydrated. And the important thing, you want to get into a spot where your back is absolutely cramped. I'll just back the rest of them off my hand, and I need to get a pair of pliers so I can pop that cotter pin out. Okay, cotter pin's out, and everything on our dash is done. You just pop that little rod off your brake pedal with your sensor, or your switch for your brake lights, and your little bushings that'll pop off. You just gotta put it all back together. And yeah, the most important thing is, don't get all the tools that you need at one time. That way you have to keep struggling to get back under there and get back out. And then you kind of want to put yourself into a bad enough position while you're staring into the abyss that is under your dash. You want to put your back on the edge of the cab, that way you can kind of just feel the pain and the burn in your back and just kind of get hot and ticked off over it. Now if your truck's a four-wheel drive and it sits up a little bit higher and you're like me, you're 5'11" roughly. Technically you're 5'11", but legally you're 6 foot because the people at the DMV was looking out for you, kind of put you in the upper margin. You kind of just want to aimlessly wander around and see what you can find to stand on. And over here we got some kind of little makeshift stands, just to make life easier on you. And then you kind of just want to grab you a handful of wrenches, because you don't really know all of the metric stuff by looking at it. Let's see, we got a 13mm here. Does that fit? Absolutely not. So the 14, does it fit? Nope. Oh, yep, 14mm fits that. Probably should have broke these loose before I unbolted it from the firewall, so it wouldn't be flopping around so much. That's a good way. I'll just go ahead and tear up my brake lines too. I honestly don't even know why I tried to grab wrenches. I keep forgetting about using this thing right here. It just makes life so much easier. These are 14mm out here. Just don't jack into your brake line and tear your brake line up. Okay, I had to put my phone down and kind of just tinker with it and figure the right way to get it out. And I had to undo this little thingamabob. I have no clue what this is, but I just had to unbolt it, unplug this, and just kind of set it over. And kind of had to push my master cylinder all the way forward. You kind of just have to hold your mouth at the right angle, and then you can kind of shoehorn it up out of here. And after you make up about a whole bunch of, probably 30 new cuss words, and just double check before you try to fight, go back in there, make sure they at least look close to being the same thing, and they do. So yeah, so it went in easier than the whole one did coming out. And kind of just have to shoehorn it in here, the little angle, get your rod started, and boom, pops right in. So I'm gonna start tightening everything down, putting it back together, and then go take it for a test drive. I think it'll probably be easier to start under the dash and secure it to the firewall, and then I can just put everything back together. Now we got to get back into the abyss and get situated. Make sure you can get your rod on the right side of your brake pedal before you start tightening everything down. And man, I hope it ain't something weird like these bolts are a different thread pitch, or these nuts are a different thread pitch. Nope. Get them all started and we'll send them home. Heck, the main reason I'm filming it so I can just use my phone light. And it's probably a good idea to check your threads before you put it in here. Make sure there's no weird defects, like they've been dinged or bent up or something, like something weird happens, Get that boot to stay in place right there. Oh, gotta get the other hand on it. That's not a nut. I don't know why I got that. That's a bushing. Wrong gear. Got it in reverse. Need to go forward. want to get all your parts ready to go back on. That can't go on yet. This goes on. Gotta have your little plastic bushing that goes in place. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to put a little grease on there, just make it last. I don't know, it lasted that long without grease, so I ain't gonna put none on it. And we gotta put our switch on. I was looking right for it. Ta-da! Gotta put the cotter pan back in it. And for the love of God, make sure you have your cotter pin reinstalled back on your brake pedal linkage, because if this all pops off and now your brakes become disconnected, you're going to have a bad day. I know, like, I've seen that on a couple cars that I've actually brought home. So everything's snug and secured. We have our vacuum line reconnected. We got everything plugged back in. This, whatever this is back on. It's just how we found it, except it's got a new brake booster. We're gonna test it out and see how it works. Okay, so now it's fixed. My truck stops a lot easier now. You don't have to jam on the brake pedal or anything. The hardest part of the job was getting the old brake booster out, and you kind of just had to shuffle it, and boom, pops out, new one pops in, put it all back together. And yeah, now I gotta go take that back and get my core charge back for it. It's like $40 for that, or $80 for it with a $40 core charge. It's crazy how expensive those things are for what they really are. But anyways, that's all there is to it.